Hello, everyone. I'm William Compton. I'm a public school teacher, lifelong Kentuckian, and Democratic candidate running for Kentucky's second congressional district. And I'm here with my co host, Spencer Keck. Spencer, please let them know about you real quick.
Yes, so I am Spencer Keck, and I am running for county magistrate here in Hardin County's third district. I would love to have your vote. I am a combat veteran. I am retired from the military, and I also am currently a public school teacher. And I have found my new breath of fresh air in public school teaching. Just love it.
Yes, glad to have you on here with me. So, we started this podcast because folks in our communities deserve more than political noise. They deserve honesty, transparency, and a chance to hear directly from people fighting for you. Each episode will break down the issues that shape our daily lives, from the rising cost of groceries and energy to the future of our public schools, healthcare, and rural communities. We'll talk with local leaders, experts, and everyday Kentuckians about what's working, what's not, and how we can build a district that works for everyone. This is a space for learning, questioning, and pushing for better together. So, again, welcome to Compton's Corner, and let's get started with today's episode. So, today's episode, we're going to focus on the top two issues that was recently polled in the second congressional district here that people were worried about. And the first one was healthcare. Now, for those who are watching, if you don't know, in Washington right now, our U.S. Senate is considering a proposal to extend the enhanced subsidies under the Affordable Care Act for more than 3 years. These subsidies, which make health insurance more affordable for millions of Americans, are scheduled to expire at the end of this year. If Congress does not act, many families could face sharply higher insurance premiums, and some may struggle to maintain coverage. This is not a distant policy debate. It's a real issue that could affect working families here in the second congressional district and all across our nation, and especially our rural communities. And it this subsidies are just so important for our healthcare. It really is, and it's going to hurt so many people. So, Spencer, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, my thoughts are that I went into the military age 18, and from then until I retired, well, I joined in 1990 until I retired in 2014, I had free health care through military hospitals and clinics. That was socialized medicine. There's no other way to, say it better. And I loved never having to worry about dental care, health care, medical emergencies, nothing. For me, it was free for my family at the time until I retired. It was free. Now I have TRICARE, um, and also VA medical care, and I'm pleased with both. I think that every honest, hardworking American should receive this. You shouldn't have to worry about whether you lose your job and then you're going to lose your health care and your whole family will. And if they have, uh, debilitating disease, that means that they won't be taken care of while you're looking for new employment. I don't believe that's right at all. I think that's should be considered un-American.
No, I completely agree. Uh, Last night, Spencer, I was in Logan County with their Democratic Party, in which for those who don't know, the way that the map is drawn, Logan County, which is southwest of Warren County, uh, majority of it is in James Comer's district, the first congressional district. But there's a tiny little corner of it that our good friend Jerry Mander was used to put in to the second congressional district. So I went out to Logan County and I wanted to meet the people out there because that tiny little corner still deserves someone to come out and listen to them and fight for their vote. And
Absolutely.
at this dinner, it was a dinner for democracy. Former Congressman James Yarmouth was there.
Ah,
And this was an issue that he spoke about a lot. He has said that he thinks healthcare is going to be the issue that's gonna propel people to go vote this election cycle.
I
Be
hope so.
Yes, and he said that he was speaking with Morgan McGarvey, who's the current, uh, representative from the 3rd congressional district,
And
and
a champion of this
oh,
healthcare.
oh, yes, and he said there is a business in Louisville that told, Representative McGarvey that once these subsidies end, once the big beautiful bill, all of that goes into effect, instead of paying $600 a month for the business, the healthcare with the business, they're gonna be paying almost $2,000 a month.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, that right there should just blow any argument they have they have out of the water. They want to return us back to the Pre-Affordable Care Act. You know, it should be something that small businesses are clamoring for, like apparently this one is. If small businesses don't have to worry about, you know, defraying the costs or paying the full costs for healthcare coverage for their employees, I believe they could hire more people.
Yep.
If it was a taxpayer funded universal healthcare plan, if we could ever get to that, you know, just like I had in the military, you work, you get taken care of, you know, then we would be much better off when it comes to helping small businesses be viable. The big companies, man, they can suck it up, and they should never complain. But the plan we got now,
Yep.
but like you're saying, these small businesses, they really have been able to benefit from the Affordable Care Act. Like you're just saying, what was that again? They're going from 600 to how
So,
much?
2,000.
Jesus. I mean, that's
2,000.
that's that's someone's paycheck that they're not, they're gonna have to cut employees, and that's
Yep.
gonna hurt them. Mm.
Yep. And it's so sad to see because not only with businesses, I mean, the ACA subsidies, they've been a lifeline for many Kentuckians, especially in our rural areas. I remember when this first got passed, and there were so many here in our state, here in our district, who didn't have healthcare that was able to get it and actually been able to go to the doctor to address the needs that they need. And it's set to expire, and now we're debating on whether or not we're going to keep that lifeline there for them. I mean, we're going to see families that will delay or skip treatment, uh, risk having medical bankruptcy just to live, and
You know, we
that's not the America that I was told growing up we have. That's not.
no, it's not. But we've been hit hardest by not hardest, but we're one of the hardest hit places, our state, um, by the opioid epidemic. And what has the Affordable Care Act done? It's helped us get people off of that and through that, you know,
Yep.
to get the treatment they need to move off of it. So we're not, because that cost the state a lot, that epidemic. If we can move people beyond that, which we are with this Affordable Care Act plan, which has more people on healthcare plans so they can get the treatment they need to get off, we lose that. This opioid epidemic's going to hurt our communities worse than it already is.
Yep, exactly. And so the solution, how do we fix this moving forward? Uh,
By not moving backwards first.
yeah, exactly. And so there's not one fix that's going to snap our finger, everything fixed in one day. And I need people to realize that, especially from their elected officials. It's going to have to take us working to that point because we're talking about fixing the entire nation's healthcare system.
Well,
So,
Medicaid for all would fix it,
oh
like
yeah, oh yeah,
that. So what I'm talking about, I mean, that's what I had basically, in the military, basically.
Oh
And
yeah,
that's basically what I have in the VA.
oh yeah. But I do want people to understand too that we have an administration in the Oval Office that we still, after the 2026 election, we still have the possibility of presidential vetoes. And so we still have to find a way to get past that. And so it's going to take people who are going to fight to fix this, to make it happen. And like you said, Spencer, Medicare for all is a huge, quick fix that we could see that, in my opinion, would be supported by even conservatives across this country because it's more fiscally responsible.
Well, the only reason conservatives are not supporting it is because they're bought off by the
Oh
lobbyists
yeah.
that don't want it to happen. It should be because it is physically conservative. That's the whole, you know, thing there. It's fiscally conservative. It's fiscally responsible.
Yep.
There are other countries in the world that are right wing, and yet they have universal health care plans. You know,
Yep.
but it's the healthcare lobby, you know, the healthcare industrial complex with the healthcare companies and the pharmaceutical companies. They don't want us to have that. They're tolerating barely the Affordable Care Act. They would love to see it go away so they can go back
Oh
to
yeah.
the old way, ways of pre-Affordable Care Act. But if we had Medicare for all, yeah, it would be such a boon for small businesses. I just can't, that like you're saying, I can't understand how we don't have everyone except for the people who have financial stakes in healthcare companies. Why isn't everyone understanding, what this would do for their life? You would have that fear erased
Yep.
of, am I going to go under if one of my family members get cancer? Am I going to go under if one of my family members, has another disease that debilitates them and will be lifelong, before they are taken away from us, Um, so yeah, you nailed it. It is the most fiscally responsible way to take care of our citizens in this nation. It's much more cost effective than what we have now.
Yep. And I will say, I've heard from some union leaders. There are some in the unions who are iffy on Medicare for all, just for the simple fact that our unions negotiate better healthcare plans when they negotiate. So that's a little bit of a drawback that they see.
Yeah, yeah,
And
but still, you can focus on the more important things.
exactly, yeah.
If
But
that's there. There's still a lot of other things to focus
yeah,
on: safety,
oh yeah,
wages.
yeah, exactly. And
And
so,
the big thing, just to counter that point, look at other countries like France, Spain. They can protest in the streets whenever they want. Whenever something's not going the way that it should for the regular citizen, they have no fear of losing their job, um, or they don't have any fear of losing their medical care. Is the main thing,
yep,
So they know, hey, if I go and I protest and my job's pissed off and they fire me, well, I'm not going to lose my diabetes medication. I'm not going to lose my cancer meds. So, okay, I will get another job. But in the meantime, I have health care. So
yep,
you have democracy is a lot stronger when it's not an employer holding that over their employees' head. Oh, if you don't act the way that we want you to, dangling that health care, that just they barely pay for,
yep,
over them
exactly,
with the job, yeah.
exactly. And healthcare is just so vitally important to everybody. We always hear the phrase, there are three things that are guaranteed in life. You're born, you pay taxes, and you die. I've heard that phrase. My dad used to say it all the time with me when
All
he would
right,
want
death
to
and
get back at
taxes.
some, yeah. But we're always going to have something that we're going to need fixed when it comes to healthcare. whether that's dental, vision, hearing, whether you have the flu, whether you are having a child and you need to go to a hospital to give birth. Any healthcare is a given for every single person in this country. So why can we not make it affordable for everybody?
Exactly.
And that's what, like you said, Medicare for all is the plan to do that.
Yep. Totally agree.
So that is the number one issue, and rightfully so, for people in this district. But the second one, and it actually kind of blew my mind how far away the uh, the second one was. I thought they would be neck and neck. And let me pull up the percentage. Well, but the second issue is the economy, uh, which again we're seeing
Is the
every
economy
day.
stupid?
Yeah, yeah, we're seeing every day people realizing this economy is not as good as they were promised. And I
No.
want so uh 34%, and these were 9,000 people who were polled. 34% of them said healthcare costs and uh just the ACA subsidies. And then 27% said economic security in the economy. So I mean that kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be neck and neck with the economy, but that was
I
the
watched
close
a,
second.
a hilarious thing. I can't remember if it was on Colbert or no, I think it was actually Jimmy Kimmel last night, um, showing 2024. All Trump did was talk about how the costs of the inflation was an issue, and now when anyone brings up the fact that it's skyrocketed, oh, that's a well, why are we talking about this? That's a Democrat conspiracy.
Yep.
Everything he campaigned on now, he's claiming when someone brings it up that it's a Democrat conspiracy that they made up. They're bringing it up. Why are you talking about
Yep. And so I
it?
mean, we just saw uh in the last week or two Thanksgiving, and I spent last Sunday with my family having Thanksgiving, and I remember sitting there and looking at everything we had. We still had enough to feed everybody, but it
Yeah,
wasn't as
what?
much as it was in the past.
Yeah, we also did too. Oh, and well, it was good. It was wonderful.
And
But you
and,
know
and
who we did pay for?
who?
We paid for some people to get more on their table and even to have free healthcare.
Yep. Our con.
Israelis and
Yep.
Argentinians.
Yep. Exactly.
$40 billion to Argentina, you know, guaranteed billions every year for Israel into in perpetuity, or what do you say? Yeah.
Yep.
And we're paying for their universal health care plan. They don't ever have to worry about their health care thanks
Yep.
to our billions.
Exactly. And but again, people
They
are
talk
seeing
about
at the
America
grocery store.
first. That's the America first we should be talking about.
Exactly. But I also took my grandmother to the grocery store on the 3rd. And again, one person, almost $450. And that was after her coupons. That was after
Yeah.
her healthy, I don't know, it's healthy something that she gets with her insurance because she's a senior citizen that took off quite a few for her produce. And these weren't junk food items.
No, like they try to say that
These
and they spend. Yeah. Yeah. Not at
these
all.
like these were things that she I'll take it back. She had one box of those Christmas tree cakes that we're seeing people putting memes and putting them on the car saying a tree fell on my car, which is hilarious. But she had
We
one
should
box
have,
of those, and
everyone should be allowed something in life to make it a little bit
yeah,
easier. So that's what it
and,
is. Okay.
and she had a case of Diet Cokes, a 12
Well,
pack.
and I know that, food, my egg prices haven't got any cheaper yet.
Oh no, not
Our
here either.
compatriot in North Carolina, Richard, I hate about his hat that says that. Have your eggs gotten cheaper yet? You know, um, we grow our own in the backyard, so um,
Smart.
We have our own chickens, but yeah, I've still noticed. I did have to go buy a few because it's wintertime. They're laying a little bit less. I noticed the price, but actually, it wasn't terrible. I'll have to say, But what did notice was Friday. Um, I had to go build a chicken house because someone gifted us three more chickens, and oh my gosh, went to Lowe's. The price of wood, plywood, and other supplies du- doubled, tripled
Yep.
since since just a few years ago. I went there to do a project, similar. That blew me away. You know, $45 for one sheet of plywood.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, um, yeah. I don't care what you say. These tariffs have not helped us.
Oh Lord, no.
that was my slap in the face. I can suck it up with the groceries and things because two income family, um, and I shop around. But oh my gosh, looking at that was that was the gut check. That was the reality check when it comes to the economy for me.
Oh yeah. And and that's things people need. Because like you said, you're building for extra chickens that you would expect to be able to go out and get and not cost an arm and a leg. And there it is,
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I was
I
on. Oh, go on. Sorry.
no, no.
I was on a TikTok live yesterday, and someone had made the comment about the tariffs and the economy, and I just made the statement. Our soybean farmers are struggling. They're getting less because of what this administration's doing.
No,
And then I said,
here's the less they're getting.
"Yeah,
Zero,
yeah,
zero. They're riding on the plants
yep." And
because
then,
those tariffs, they're not. China's not buying them. Canada's not
correct.
buying. But
Yeah,
who are they buying it from? Argentina, the guys we
yep,
gave $40 billion to.
yep,
They've now cornered the market with bricks. So that's who China's trading with.
yep,
Brazil, Russia, India, China, and
yep.
yeah, I
Well,
forget who the
and
S is. Do you remember who the
I
S
mentioned, oh, I can't remember,
is? Keep forgetting.
but I also mentioned the bourbon industry,
Oh
which,
man,
like I've said
near and dear to me.
before, yeah, yeah, exactly. But like I said before, it's very important.
Very dear.
But it's very important to this congressional district specifically
hmm
because the bourbon capital of the world is in Bardstown and
Yeah.
right at
Yeah.
the tip of the district. So I mentioned those, and all I got from that person was, "That's all a lie. That's not true."
Yeah, it is absolutely true.
And
Canada, it made a point. They
yes,
bought so much of our bourbon. They loved that exchange, between us, and they bought so much of our bourbon until this happened, and they made a point. No, we're only going to drink Canadian whiskey,
yep.
and so it's been incredible, just
It,
absolutely incredible. The
and
fact
so
that
it's just, yeah, yeah. And I told that person, I said, "Listen, come to Kentucky and speak to these farmers, speak to these distilleries, and you'll
I,
find out it's true."
I really wish they would, man, because I think I've told you this before. I'm not sure if I have. And I went over Thanksgiving break. My daughter came in from San Diego. 27-year-old was talking about. We had a wonderful just Kentucky fest. I took her home as many places as I could, and in 5 days, Cumberland Falls, Iroquois Park in Louisville, or we did the Freeman Lake here in Hardin County. We got the lights display for Christmas. It's freaking wonderful and free. Um, Meade County's in your district, right? So we got
Oh, yeah.
Buttermilk Falls hike. That's one of the
Okay. I love
oh my
that.
gosh. So just got so many great things in. But then Sunday, it was last we went over to Maker's Mark, and can't say enough. I think I've told you before. They pay their people $30 an hour, full timers. I was talking to the bartender there. $34 an hour. all of them get full benefits. So we're talking about this healthcare, deal. Um, Maker's Mark, I'm sure, would not be able to hire as many people as they do, and that's when people desire, they're just tearing their doors down to try to get that job. That's the highest pay in the industry. They treat their employees like freaking gold. So why would we tear down and in my opinion, an icon like that? Of course, I'm just a little prejudiced. I really love their product and the way they treat people and the earth. They do regenerative
Oh yeah.
farming out there. That's just uh, everything that they do to me is quality. The way they treat their employees is key. You treat your employees like that. When you go out there, you can see it in the gift shop and the tours. They love it, the product. They love making something good. But the big thing is, they do it with such joy and happiness when you go out there. If you're getting paid $30 an hour in Loretto, Kentucky, that's heaven. You know,
Yep.
34 an
Exactly.
hour plus full benefits. And we're talking again about healthcare. That should also include maternity leave. And they give their people full maternity leave, even if they
Yep.
adopt a kid.
Oh yeah. Most
But
definitely.
we're
And
we're killing it. We're killing the bourbon industry.
yep.
It was up here. It was in the stratosphere. Now we're bringing it way down with this.
Yep.
And that's a major, like you said, we're in the your district is
Yep.
in the center of it all, and that just to me that's Kentucky heritage. So I do
It is.
despise
Oh yeah.
seeing that go down the tubes.
Yeah. And then
Besides liking the product.
yeah. And so you've mentioned multiple times about uh, businesses, if we you can hire more people if we had Medicare for all. People are knocking down the doors to get into Maker's Mark and working for them. I also want to point this out too, the job loss from November. And now this
Mm-mm-mm.
job loss is through the private sector. So this
Yep.
is not, of course, from the federal government because we've seen that the president has decided they don't want to give out any more information unless it fits his narrative
Yep.
regarding this.
Yep.
So,
Bald faced lie about it.
exactly. And so the private sector has lost about 32,000 jobs. And this is just an approximate number, 32,000 jobs uh, in the month of November. And this is through ADP data. And it was a significant decline that affected small businesses.
My wife and I were just having a conversation about this today because once the cycle heads in this direction, it's also easier for employers to mistreat their employees. You know, they just make a little stumble or misstep. Oh, you're fired. I'm gonna go grab someone else. Because they can
Yep.
start paying them lower wage. You know, it's not good for Americans. And again, we could do something about it. You know, elect you.
Yes.
We'll do something about it. People like you.
And I'm actually looking at this. The number might actually be a lot higher. Uh Again, this is through ADP. It says the number is a lot higher. Um the morning's job loss report on the small business side reached post-COVID lows of minus 120,000. And this was posted December 2nd. So this might be for the whole year. And it says, broken down even further, 46,000 jobs were lost in the private sector for November among companies with 20 employees or less, and
Mm,
74,000 in the private sector came from firms between 20 to 49 workers.
wow.
Uh, We're just seeing massive
Yeah.
job loss.
Yeah.
And again, it's hurting our small businesses,
Yep.
hurting those mom and pop shops that I know growing up was so near and dear to my heart that I loved going to, that really made
Absolutely.
the communities really thrive. And so
Yeah,
they're the ones getting hurt, and they're the ones we should be lifting up. They really are.
absolutely.
So I didn't realize that, oh, that number was a lot worse than I thought. Man, but
Well,
that just
what do you propose we do about it?
well, there's actually a couple of things we can do about it. The first is with small businesses, we need to make sure that actually small businesses are getting federal contracts. And when I say that, the Small Business Association, I reached out to them and I've been having conversations with them. And 25% of federal contracts supposed to go through small businesses. There are larger businesses that have found loopholes to be put into that category and have taken over the small business loans to where that 25% of federal contracts has now went down to 10, 9 single digits that are going to actual small businesses. So I think
Yeah.
that's one we need to make sure those small businesses are getting 25% of those federal contracts. That's number 1. And number 2, we need to this is going to sound cliche, but it's the truth. We need to break up these monopolies.
Oh
These
yeah.
huge corporate monopolies. I
We got to
know.
destroy the oligarchy.
Oh yes, yeah. But well, here in the last couple days, we've seen Netflix and I think Warner Brothers. I think it was Warner Brothers wanting to merge.
No,
Let me double
actually,
check.
no, Netflix
Or
and
HBO and Max.
HBO
Yeah.
Max did. I got to say, I was happy with that because I was afraid that another one of these conservative conglomerates was going to take it over. And Netflix has a very good track record, in my opinion. You know, and so I was kind of excited because I think that Bill Maher then won't be forced off the air since Netflix got HBO and DC Universe now and Warner Brothers. That's just me, you know. But no,
But
I
it
was talking about this the other day. We're talking about agriculture and soy. There's
yeah.
only like 3 companies now that sell seeds, right? 2
Okay.
farmers, ConAgra and some others. Only a couple of um, manufacturers that make the farm implements, the tractors and such that the farmers need. So they're beholden to these companies. They have them literally over a barrel. You know,
Yeah. So
um,
the
that's a huge.
oh yeah.
You talk about the agricultural industrial complex. That's killing our farmers. Along with this
Yep.
tariffs. But
So
the
are
thing is, like Besant, that is in charge,
yes.
he has interests in um, these conglomerates that are international. So he didn't mind that Argentina picked up our soy, market because he owns ConAgra interests over there in Argentina also. You know, so it doesn't bother them what happens in America. They're not putting America first.
Yeah. So when you're talking about the corporations with the seeds, are you talking about I just quickly looked it up. Um, it pulled up Bayer, Corteva,
Yep, that's right.
Syngenta, and then BASF.
Yeah. So yeah,
Those
those
4.
are so, uh, and they make the farmers use just their seeds. If someone else's seed that like if someone decides, hey, they've got if they find say a niche soybean seed has like maybe some heirloom seeds, but there aren't their um, seeds that have been made and produced just by them. You got those GMO seeds. If some of these heirloom seeds were to blow onto a farmer's field that has a ConAgra contract, ConAgra can sue them. That's how horrible this is. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's just. it's not good for the farmers or the economy.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. And for our grocery stores with the food market, there's about 10 to 12 major, they call them conglomerates, major corporations that
Yep,
control the
yep.
food.
They keep merging.
Yes. And I know I've mentioned this on a previous podcast, but right after COVID, uh, PepsiCo, the CEO of PepsiCo, was asked, you're getting your stuff in from your shipments in now. There's no having to worry about waiting. Everything's coming in like normal. Are you going to lower your prices? And the CEO of PepsiCo said, why would we? We're making record breaking profit. The
Yeah.
CEO of Coke and I have spoken. People are going to buy our product no matter what. Why are we going
What's
to
the
lower the prices?
what's that tea company who actually didn't do that? They said, "Hey, we're going to keep it at a dollar." Um,
Arizona.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So
yes.
there, again, so I guess that's there. It shows just Arizona Tea, Maker's Mark, Costco. There's a few of these companies out there that realize you know the bottom dollar isn't everything. You know,
Yep.
and helping your employees, making them happy, makes your company stay risen up and high,
Yes.
high up in the stratosphere, and also you'll have longevity. You know.
Yeah. I will say with Arizona tea, they're consistent across the nation too with that $1 price. I
Yep.
a couple years ago
Yep.
I went to Vegas and just to get water it was like 5, 6, $7. And I purposely went to I think it was a Walgreens and
Yep.
I got a whole bunch of Arizona tea for $1. Each can $1 just because it
Absolutely.
was so much cheaper. And that's what I drink when I was there instead of water.
Yeah.
Probably not the healthiest, but
Yeah. Hey, still hydration, I guess.
I was on vacation. We don't count those calories in.
That's right.
So, anything else you want to add to either topic, healthcare or economy? Because we're about to hit our 38-minute mark.
Yeah. No, I think we've really clobbered a lot of it. On healthcare, I think I mentioned in a previous show. My niece, she just lost her SSI and therefore Medicaid. We've been relying on that because she has some real serious, health issues that we deal with. I don't know, how I'm going to manage to suck it up. I'm going to try to find a legal aid lawyer, but I feel for anybody else who's in our boat, and I don't want to see anyone else in this boat. You know,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And again, I mentioned this earlier, and I'm just gonna say it now. Everyone is gonna have to deal with our economy. You're gonna have to buy groceries, buy things to survive. You're gonna have to have healthcare to survive. We need a functioning government that's going to work for the people and make things easier for the people. And again, I'm going to steal another quote from John Yarmouth last night. He said that we're seeing two sides of the spectrum with people who are currently elected. And that's the people in the government who think the government should make things harder for people, and people who think they should make life easier for people. And I know where I stand. I think we should make life easier for everybody. We should be working for a better future for everybody, not making it so much harder that we're struggling every single day.
yeah, again, we should facilitate life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Yes,
We should
agreed.
judge everything by that. Is it facilitating life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Doesn't mean the government can make you happy, but at least can allow you to pursue happiness in your way.
Yes,
Uh,
exactly. In a legal way. I have to say
yeah,
that in a legal
yeah, yeah.
because we don't want any Epstein things
No,
going on.
no. Oh, I don't know if that was truly happiness either. So
That's
I'll say
true.
it's not.
So,
It's a
all right.
void in someone's soul.
Oh God. So, all right. So, any final remarks for tonight?
Well, this all just ties into, we need an educated populace, and so our voters, we all need to really be truly educated, not by what Breitbart News tells us, you know, or faux news, but we need to really dig in deep. And doesn't, matter if someone makes promises if they can't keep them and have no intention of keeping them. And that's what we've seen. There
Yep.
is no intention of lowering the gas prices or the egg prices after November of last year. you know,
Yep.
Once November of last year was over, it was all said and done. And now we can say that the whole talk about affordability, you know, that the president, when he was a candidate, harped on all the time. Now he says affordability is a Democratic, conspiracy. Oh my gosh.
Yep. Well, and before I get into mine, you actually hit the nail on the head. Uh, a lot of politicians will say, "I'm going to fight for X, Y, and Z," and like Trump turned turned 180 and went the opposite. But you also have some politicians who will say, "I'll fight for X, Y, and Z," and then when they get up there, they do fight for it, but there's roadblocks that keep it from happening. So I think we
Yeah.
do need to reward those who do keep their promises and try to fight for it, uh,
Yep.
because you can't control every member of Congress. You can control your vote and you can stand up for the people who elected you, but ultimately you can't control what everyone else does. And so, like I said, those who are standing up and trying to keep their promise, we need to make sure to lift those people up too, because those are honest people. They're doing what they said they would,
Absolutely.
and I have respect for that. Even if I don't agree with it sometimes, I do have respect. I have respect for keeping your promise.
But it does also go back to, hey, we got to get you nominated for the Democratic ticket. So all the independents that are watching, please, just for a little bit. I know it might be a little bit of sour milk for you. Let's toss it, get some fresh milk, go register as a Democrat, and then you change it back as soon as that primary election's over, change it back to independent. But
Yep.
there's no way you can't sit here and say, oh, but it shouldn't be that way. Well, and we would probably agree. I don't know. Would you agree? Should you
Oh
think
yeah.
of independent? We agree. We think
Uh,
independents should be able to vote in one or the other of the parties' primary elections, but
yep.
it's not a law now, and we can't change it and that law until you elect
Yep.
us. Then we can
Exactly.
start pushing for that. But we
Exactly.
got to get you nominated, and to do that, we need independents to go register as Democrats. For you. Yeah,
Yeah. And that's a open primary system is what would allow independents to vote in one of those parties. And
and
right
we
now
don't
we're
have that.
closed. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'd love to see it one day. I'd
So would
love
I.
to see it. So,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
thank you, everyone who is watching this episode. I truly appreciate it. Next week, the plan is to have someone who is not from Kentucky on here, but she is running for Secretary of State in Indiana, Blythe Potter. She's an amazing human being. There's a lot of similarities between rural Kentucky and rural Indiana that we definitely can talk about. She's been hearing a lot of the same issues we're hearing in our districts, and she is just an amazing human being. So you don't want to miss next week's episode because it's going to be a great conversation. And it's good to hear other perspectives outside of Kentucky too. So uh, I appreciate all of you all for watching, and I'll see you next week on Compton's Corner.
God bless your corazon.